I might be Wolverine. Like 4 days ago, a dog bit through my hand, and it's pretty much all healed up. Even the doctor today was just like, damn dude, that healed really fast. So yeah, time to grow out the sideburns, I guess. But it's also time to revisit the Ignis Wraith. That wasn't a very good segue now, was it? This is a Mastery Rank 9 Grineer Flamethrower that surprisingly enough does pure heat damage with a 17% crit chance, 2.5 times crit multi, and a 29% status chance. The blueprint was originally awarded to clans during an event way back, but has since been introduced into the game in many different ways. You can get it from the Chem Lab in your dojo if you have a rank 10 clan. A fully built version of the Ignis Wraith is sometimes sold by Baroketeer. You can also buy the blueprint from Ticker in Fortuna during Star Days in February, and it drops from caches in Grineer Vale Proxima. Also, it's one of the few weapons that you can buy from Baro and cannot trade. So let's give it a shot. Shall we? One thing about the Ignis Wraith is that the stats aren't actually all that good. The status is decent, but the base damage and crit are not the best. I think we just stick to Merciless. Nice and simple. Galvanized Chamber for some multi-shot. We're gonna skip scope and go straight for aptitude because I actually want to try a non-crit build on this. We could actually go... Yeah. Let's move Galvanized Aptitude somewhere else. And we can run primed cryo rounds and thermite rounds for big blast. Someone's messaging me, wowee. And we can combo it with electricity. Lovely. Actually, the punch through on this is gonna be really nice because the Ignis Wraith has infinite body punch through, but I don't think it has any like terrain punch through at all. I actually think we can double down on some damage with Serration. You could go with a Bane mod instead, but I would just rather have Serration for better ramp up, and I want to get some sort of ammo mutation in. I want to go for Fire Rate, but we will need another Forma for this, and the one that makes the most sense is going to be a D, which, I mean, 2 Ds on a rifle, ooh, that does not feel good. That feels like a bad idea. It's not as bad as it used to be now that we have Elementalist, but still. If you want to be really fancy, you could go with Prime Shred for more punch through, but I think Speed Trigger is going to be just fine. So it's probably not going to be tremendous against armored units. I mean, it works against the small guys, not against the big guys though. That's going to be a problem. We need some armor strip. Let's take out Serration. Let's move Speed Trigger up here instead. And Corrosive. There we go. That's actually a pretty good setup, because we have more blast than corrosive, so we're mostly going to be proccing blast, yeah, 76.2%, and then we get a little bit of corrosive for the armor strip. That's perfect. It's not as good as a min-max hunter munition setup, but it's pretty good. Let's try some other factions as well. Okay, yep, Shield Boys just exploded, good stuff. Let's try the Murmurinos as well. That's surprisingly good actually. The single target's not terrific against the big guys, but we also don't have Harold yet. This is pretty much the worst case scenario because they are resistant to corrosive. I mean, it's not the best, but then again, how often do you fight sentients in large numbers? The Shieldy Boys are actually the most problematic, or the Gate Boys. The best of boys has been summoned. Let's switch him over to corrosive, no, Viro and heat actually. And let's give him a new coat of paint. Oh, what a dapper boy. Look at him. Yeah, that definitely helps. The extra Viro is very nice. You could also do this with Nourish if you wanted to, and then prime something else. This ain't half bad, my dudes. And Dudette. Hi, Samantha. She's the Dudette of the week. Let us see what it do, yeah? It's honestly pretty good once you get it ramped up. I really like that I don't have to aim down sights all the time, because if you're running the crit version of this, you kind of want to go with scope because it's too much crit chance to pass up. So not having to aim down sights all the time is quite nice. My main goal here was to make like a standalone build that feels nice, because the Ignis Wraith is really good in combination with other stuff. Like if you have Arcane Avenger or you're running Sevagoth, then you can do a big crit build. Or you can run it on Zephyr and combo it with her Tornadoes, that's really good too. Or you can even do like Sarin with Combustion Beam and Toxic Lash for chaining explosions. But I really wanted to make a build that just kind of works on its own, so you can slap it on whatever and it will, well, just work. And I think this is pretty much that. It's decent, but it's not as good as if you combo it with other stuff, which is to be expected. What would I give this? Maybe like a 6, maybe 7 out of 10. It's a bit slow, but it definitely gets the job done. I think I've just been spoiled by all these ridiculous slam builds. It's so easy and so fun to run like a Slam Podes, or even like the Incarnon Side Bear, and they do so much damage and are so fun to use. Malise, my dude, how have you been, buddy boy? I don't think this is going to be particularly good, but actually, that's not half bad. That's pretty decent. We do have a lot of fire rate, and the damage isn't the worst. Yeah, this is pretty good. I've just been Malised in the face, goddamn. I feel like this kind of a setup would work better on the star chart, because especially if you run like Prime Firestorm and Sinister Reach, it's gonna explodify everything, everywhere, all at once. So this is fine, yeah, we like this, it kind of does what we wanted it to do, but I would also kind of like to have a more serious, more powerful build for the Ignis Wraith as well. Something like this, I suppose. It's just a Hunter Munitions Vita build, nothing too complicated, pretty cookie cutter. I do want to add extra crit through Avenger though. This is kind of what I was talking about, like the Ignis Wraith on its own is fine, but you need to kind of add extra stuff if you really want to sauce it up. Let's also switch Harrow to Corrosive and Heat. Yeah, this is definitely better, like much better actually, though it does need extra stuff. Like ideally you would run this on either like Sevagoth or Frost or Harrow to get the extra crit in there, or even Citrine. Citrine would actually be quite nice as well. Yeah, I don't... Like, for Steel Path, this is definitely the way to go. Like, I wouldn't actually recommend the other build. This is so much better for Steel Path, it's not even funny. We actually don't have the right pet for this. You would ideally run a Moa or a Sentinel, something that can run a weapon so that you can get more pieces of the Vigilante set bonus. Yep, this is very much the superior of the two builds, so if you want damage, forget about the first build. This is the way to go. So in the end, we ended up with a pretty standard Hunter Munitions Vital setup for the Ignis Wraith. We have Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Galvanized Scope for crit chance, though if you don't like aiming down sight, Critical Delay is a decent enough alternative. Then we have Vital Sense for crit damage, Galvanized Aptitude for status chance and condition overload, Rhyme Rounds and Malignant Force for vital damage, Hunter Munitions for slash procs, and Rifle Elementalist for punch through and status damage. We're also running Vigilante Supplies in the Exiles for a bit of ammo mutation and the Vigilante set bonus, and for our Arcane we just have Primary Merciless. Now this build really benefits from extra sources of flat final critical chance, so stuff like Arcane Avenger, Harrow's Covenant, or even Citrine's Crystals, which set your crit chance at 300% when shooting at them. If you can't or don't want to get any of them, you might give this build a shot instead, because it doesn't rely on crit at all, it's just a bunch of status with Corrosive and Blast. Do I really need to tell you that the Ignis Wraith is good if you build it right? Because I don't think I do. It's one of the most popular weapons in the game. Pretty much everyone has used Ignis or Ignis Wraith at some point. It's a fantastic, extremely popular farming weapon that's decent enough on its own, but can actually be amazing and do great damage if it's comboed with the right stuff. So of course I'm gonna recommend you give it a shot. It's great. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.